Hey, everybody. Remember, if you're a fan of the Tennessee Volunteers or just sports in general, please like, comment, and subscribe. Any and all support's greatly appreciated. Now, let's get to the video. Hey, guys. How's it going? Josh here. Realize since moving out my treadmill, this room is a little extra echoey. So we'll have to add some stuff in here to help solve that. But wanted to tune in here tonight and give my thought today and give my thoughts after the game last night. I don't know about you all, but these 9 o'clock kickoffs are kind of kicking my butt, especially as I get older and I have work the next morning. So by the time the game's over, it's 11:15, and then you're just kind of ready to go to bed. But some overall initial reactions. This is one of the more better games I've seen Tennessee play throughout the season. And when I say better, I mean it's because they essentially controlled the game from the opening tip-off to the close. We had a little bit of a scare there in the second half, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But overall, the game plan was quite clear. Our bigs were going to be using their physicality, their size, their strength to bully Mississippi State around, and that's exactly what they did. I think it was some statistic like in the first 5 minutes of game time, Tennessee had like 5 or 6 total dunks. It felt like every time we were going down the court, a guard was lobbing up the ball and Akpara was jamming it down. J.P. Estrella had one of the best dunks I've seen, period, where he literally just took off, one-handed dunked on a Mississippi State player. I think a lot of us were excited by that because one of the complaints I've had about J.P. Estrella is just a perceived lack of physicality. It's not, there seems to be a lack or a willingness to do exactly that. So seeing that was hugely, hugely great to see. Couple that also with the game against Kentucky on Saturday, where the bigs, one could argue, cost us the game, shot very poorly shot their free throws very poorly. So again, it was great to see that. Then again, Jacoby leading the way. Boswell, he had a quiet game from a points perspective, but he really filled up the stat sheet in other places as well. Cue the second half. I believe we entered closed the first half with an 11-point lead. So I don't know about you, but I was holding my breath and I'm like, okay, guys, can we finish this out? Can we get this game over the finish line after that absolute collapse that we witnessed Saturday? And we ballooned this lead all the way up to 23 points. So, again, physicality, great shooting well from the free throw line, a lot of positives. But then about probably about the 9 or 10 minute mark, Mississippi State proceeds to go on a 16-0 run, which cut our lead down to 7 points, 5 or 7 points at one point. And at that point, it seemed like another total meltdown. Rick Barnes called the timeout in the middle of that run. We kept making stupid turnovers. We just went absolutely cold from the field. Our physicality really seemed to evaporate in that instance. And that's been a recurring theme with this team throughout the year. Tennessee can play really, really, really good basketball. They can be a really efficient team, and they can be lethal. The issue is twofold. Sustaining it is one thing, and then also sustaining it throughout an entire game is another, right? So this is another key example where we really led from start to finish, but those troubling signs were still there, right? Especially during that 16-0 run by Mississippi State. And you know what? Give them credit. I haven't even really acknowledged their team. Specifically, this Josh Hubbard guy, man alive. I think at the beginning of the game, he was, of their 16 points, he was like 14 of them. The dude is lethal. He's a great shooter. He's a great playmaker. It appears as though he maybe injured his leg late in the second half when they were in the midst of that run, which I think helped us somewhat curb it. Wish him a speedy recovery, and I hope all is well for him. That guy is just an absolute baller. But again, not to take credit away from Mississippi State, but that run was not so much Mississippi State overperforming or performing as they should, but more so the recurring theme that we've seen throughout the season of Tennessee just collapsing when there's a big moment. So, again, that was troublesome to see, but it was also a benefit to see us rally together, get a few key stops. And around that time, Ament had a little bit of a quiet game. But late in the second half, when it started getting tight, he had a couple of and ones. He started getting physical. He started driving to the basket. He was hitting his free throws. He was a nice pressure release valve that helped us weather that storm and ultimately end up winning by 9. So you all know how we do it at this point. I always like to go over and take a look at the box score here. A couple of things jump out immediately. One, our rebound differential this entire season has been huge. 14 extra additional rebounds, 8 additional assists. We were even in that turnover margin, but again, 11 turnovers is just a lot. We also had 6 blocks too. Having Okpara back is huge. Again, he brings that physicality. He guards the rim. There were shots where it looked like it was just a guaranteed layup or dunk for Mississippi State that Okpara just swings in out of nowhere and just rejects it. So having him in the game and having a healthy Okpara, I think frees up JP Estrella a little bit more, but also he's just the type of physical presence that we need near the basket to help reduce kind of those in the paint points that we've been prone to give up to the last couple of games in his absence. But again, here calling out Ament, had a quiet second half. The majority of these points came in the second half, especially towards the end of the second half when he just kind of put his head down. He got physical. He was driving to the basket. So again, I still see his trajectory going up. Jacoby had a really good game too. 2 of 8 from 3, but had some really clutch threes there. And like I said, Boswell finishing with 4 points, but he had 7 rebounds, 8 assists. This dude is just a stats machine. And then some of our bench players, Brown and Henderson, Evans, a couple of our younger players that are getting some valuable minutes. And then also just have to credit this dude, Josh Hubbard, 31 points, 4 of 9 from 3. He hit 2 or 3 of those threes at the beginning of the game consecutively. He was on fire, but unfortunately, when you look around him, he didn't have much support elsewhere. So that was a quick recap. Again, I think more positives than negatives for this game after stewing over it overnight. Never want to see a team go on a 16-0 run. I saw a tweet last night that said a 16-0 run in March is going to get you bounced from the tournament. And that's absolutely true, right? But we weathered the storm. We were able to win. We won by 9 on the road in a tough SEC. If I'm not mistaken, we've moved up to 4th in the standings, tied with a couple of other teams. So, I still think the ship has sailed for us to win the SEC in season, but you never know. You never know how things may shake out. If we can keep winning games, our remainder of the season is pretty manageable. We've got LSU coming in here Saturday night, so I'll be excited for that one. But let me know what you think down in the comments. More good than bad. What did you think about the 16-0 run? Just drop your thoughts, and I look forward to reading them. Thanks again for stopping in today. And remember, if you like this content, I can't ask enough. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Any and all support's greatly appreciated. And as always, go Vols!